Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 between LiquidTLO and TSLPolt from the ASUS Winter Assembly ROG 2012. This is from group play, and Polt here is going to be the blue Terran at the bottom left of Core Hollow Compound, which was one of the newer ladder maps, and now is pretty prominent at tournaments alongside Cloud Kingdom. And, of course, LiquidTLO at the little one, that is, at the top right of this same map. And I'm not sure if Core Hollow Compound was user-created or not. I know that Cloud Kingdom was, and I found that pretty neat because I really liked the shading. I thought, okay, there's no way that anybody but Blizzard could do this. And turns out it was actually user-generated, so I was pretty fascinated. Let me know if you guys know if Core Hollow Compound is or not. I will have to find out the definitive answer to that. Why am I rotating, you may ask? Just to master this. And yesterday was when I did my dual commentary with Mr. Quirrell Warcraft 3, so if you guys want to check that out, it's on this account, should be up really soon. It's on his account, I'll link you to his channel, and it's on our new account, Stu Broadcasting. That little name there comes from a combination of our last names, and so we're planning on doing a lot more dual comms, and actually maybe if we can get enough success going, because we are a pretty powerful tandem, we could dedicate most of our time to that channel. So check out the channel when it's actually gotten established. Not just yet, I'll link you to that as well, but check it out when it's actually gotten itself established, and just see if you enjoy dual comm, and see if you enjoy it. And, I mean, I would still focus on I would balance the focus between my single channel and dual comm channel, because of course we'd have to be able to actually work our schedules together so that we could provide enough content, because we have reached a setup that we can do over Skype. We don't actually need to physically get together, but still, we do go to different schools. We do have not so coinciding schedules, so that you may see videos on that channel less frequently than on my actual single channel. So now delving into our game. Yes, that's your vocabulary word for the day. Delving, to delve. If it sounds like delve, it's D-E-L-V-E. Because yeah, I cannot say L's too well. But the worst letter I can pronounce. Anyway, let's actually delve this time. We have the hatch, which did come first from TLO. He's going to follow that up with the pool. Now just this Scout Marine moving about. The SCV going to head into the base, while TLO will try to pick it off. And now the factory following the barracks that has a couple Marines streaming out, ready to kill this Overlord. And I don't think that will deny TLO too much supply, will it actually? Oh, don't think it's gonna die. 3 health. I'm pretty sure he would have been supply blocked had he lost the Overlord. Well microed there by TLO. Just the small things count here in this game. And let me tell you a funny story. I was playing a ladder 1v1 game the other day. I'm in bronze. As I've said in some of my older casts, I'm a Silver League player, but by nature, I'm not even kidding. But I've been placed in bronze just a couple seasons in a row because I've been rusty and such. I was playing mind games against the player, and I sent all of my workers to kill his scout. And I scouted at like the 30-second mark. I ended up winning because he was a Terran and he played on one base, just because of that, I believe. Because I was able to just macro up. He sat on one base thinking, okay, this guy's gonna cheese or all in or something, and I didn't. It's just that all scouts attack, all of my workers attacked, so immediately, if I were a player, that would raise an eyebrow. So we do have the pool, no upgrades there, and the natural expand here from TLO. Well, Polt is opting for his natural command center, so that is a fast expand there from the Terran player. I'm seeing that more and more often, to be honest with you. In older TVZ, you wouldn't see the Terran going for the fast expand. Even if he saw the hatchery first, he would opt more for a tech route. And let's get following this Hellion here. I don't know, is there any sort of a shortcut to it? No, it's the Control-Shift-F, so that's a little bit annoying. Or is it just Control-F? Yeah, no. Oh, I can skip to him, okay. There we go, I apologize for my noobism. my newbieism. A couple creep tumors under siege now from these Hellions. Gonna have to be microed back very carefully. Stimpack on the way from our Terran player. He is unable to roast the creep tumor in time, and he will blow it up by area of effect damage. That is pretty neat for your Hellions to do. Look at that, just barbecuing it indirectly. The Queen's absorbing the damage, of course. So now this Hellion harass could potentially decide the fate of the game. If it doesn't work out economically for Polt, it could actually change the balance. And if TLO is able to hold off using some aptly placed spine crawlers, he could win the game just because he was able to deny Polt any sort of harassment. The Terran often tries to opt for the early game Hellions, and almost never Blue Flame. It never goes that late into the game. But we do have a Macro Hatch and a Spine Crawler here from TLO, so if he can hold his natural off, get himself nice and naturated. For those newly tuning in, that means when you're natural saturated, then he may have a good shot at this. If these Hellions cannot do sufficient damage, which they may or may not be able to against these later game Speedwings, because speed is not finished yet. It comes down to that often, whether or not the Zergling Micro can be up to par, because look at this, Hellions, if Micro properly, can bake Zerglings alive, but if not used correctly, they can cost the Terran player an awful lot. I'm not actually sure, I'm a little rusty. We do have quite a few tech buildings here, by the way. The Starport, another racks, another factory here with a factory building the reactor on there, actually. I believe it must have lifted off or something of the sort. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused with this add-on. Oh, I think he lifted it off to build a reactor on it so that he can get racks on this reactor. Hellion's still poking around. And let's see how much they actually cost. 100 minerals, right? So this is, that right there is 600 minerals. And so TLO can deny, as he's doing right now with these Speedwings, he can potentially deny Polt 600 minerals. And let's actually look at that right now. The units lost, so it's even, 500, 500, okay, because of those lings adding up. But that's what I'm trying to emphasize. With your Terran player, it's Hellion Micro. And now we do have some lings actually running into Polt's base here, and the key factor, the deciding factor in Game 1 was the ling kills for Polt. He was able to micro his drop forces so well, actually pulling SCVs off the line briefly there. He's able to micro his forces so well that around 400 lings died by the end of the game, and there's the wall lowered for a second there. I don't know if TLO saw that or not. I don't think he did. Oh, no. Wrong vision. No, he did. Oh, now he does see the lowered wall, and that will come into play because there are currently 6 Banelings on the field, 16 on the way, along with an Evo Chamber, combat shields only, now researching from our Terran player. And these 16 Banelings, if you guys paid attention to the dual cast, that was MCW Demaga versus Empire Cost. Banelings took out the Terran force, and now it looks like they may do the exact same. Marines forced into the corner. Polt will have to seriously split his workers if he hopes to have a chance at this game. Speedwings now forcing them into corners. Absolute havoc being wreaked, and there's a Baneling trying to get away from this one Marine. How much health does it have left? Just 8. 5 even, and it does blow up, not really doing too much damage, but I think this may potentially cost Polt the game. 23 workers killed from the Zerg player. Even if Polt can hold this off with his marginal SCV force, we have 30 wings and counting on the way from TLO. And let's look at our actual units tab. That's 49 wings against 4 Marines. So it's looking rough for our blue Terran player right now in Game 2. And he just wasn't able to get a good worker split, and he was cornered by the Speedwings and Banelings, and he just did not have enough of a main force. I would argue he overinvested in the Hellions. He got, what was it, 8 Hellions? That's 800 minerals. And he was teching up only now, and so now he's just forced with this Marine and 1 Marauder force back, and the Wings will get a full surround, killing SCVs in the process. So at this point, with the amount of the large volume of wing production that TLO has, I don't think Polt has an honest chance at this, just because, as I said, he overinvested in the early game Hellions. It worked in wing play. I apologize for that little laggy moment. I don't know what that was all about, but it did not work in this game. That's it. He tried to get a 2-way to supply depot wall, couldn't split, and the Banelings, I think, played a huge role for TLO. And I mean, it's not over yet. Polt still does have this small force, but if you look at just the production capabilities of the Zerg player, they vastly exceed that of the Terran, who is only mining off 1 base with a large lack of work rate income tab, 48 to 19. So quite an advantage there economically for the Zerg. So all Polt has at this point is just a handful of Marines, some medevacs to his system, and TLO is continually reinforcing his Baneling and Zerg forces. I don't think he's actually gotten too many Baneling kills, but he used them efficiently to force the workers into corners, and then was able to trap them and pick off 23, yeah, I believe it was. And now, if we look at, our units killed tab, so 34 workers killed now for TLO. He's just picked off so very many. 34 workers killed is almost always GG, and if you look at the units tab, that is 48 Zerglings with 9 Banelings morphing. Our Terran is trapped in 1 base, And I think he's just stalling at this point. He's pulling at straws. He's briefly supply blocked, losing a couple Marines to Banelings there, but now there's so many. Speedwings. They are, I believe, upgraded with 1-1. Yeah, that was researching. Was I able to bring that to you in the heat of the battle, and now we only have infantry weapons level 1, but as I've said time and time again, the Terran player usually takes a little bit longer to get to his upgrade tech because he has those combat shields, Stimpack, and possibly concussive shells. But concussive shells aren't usually used against Zerg because against I guess they might be effective against roaches, but definitely not Speedwings, because that would just be a waste, hitting one Speedwing with a concussive shell. There's some Baneling cocoons dying there, but I don't think Polt's main force is going to be able to handle TLOs. And the difference here, I mean, in main army size, Polt would probably win, but its reinforcement capability, TLO just has, he only has 2 bases, actually, to be honest with you. He has this macro hatch, he has this macro hatch, which is going to provide him with those essential larvae, and now he's just bringing absolute despair to the Terran lines. Like you might see, I actually watched the StarCraft Brood War opening cinematic just the other day, and it was so like, when the main ship flies off and you just see the Marine realizes he's deserted, that's pretty much what's going on right here for Polt. They're screaming for reinforcements, desperately trying to manage a reactor on their bunker. Well, nothing is really going to work out for them, so we finally do have that there from TLO. I don't think it matters much at this point, but then again, I've doubted Polt so strongly that suddenly I realized he could have a vague chance. If he had an insane micro, he could have a distant chance. I mean, call me crazy if you like. Polt has no natural, hardly any mining going on. His economy pretty much at a standstill, and now his natural being picked off again. But I just looked over here. I mean, we have a considerable Zerging force. Yeah, 45 lings, but just like, we saw Polt's Marine control in Game 1, and it was fantastic. So, if you guys have watched any of my amateur casts, you don't have to feel forced if you're not interested in that kind of thing. But there's a player named Zapper, who's a friend of mine from school, and he's like, he's an alright player up front, and I'm sure he would agree with me. He's an okay player. He's not fantastic, but he's not terrible. But he can often beat my other friends who are way, way better up front, no offense to him, with just these crazy strategies and crazy control. And it's funny, and I'm thinking this for Polt. If he went for this guerrilla warfare, I was envisioning that the other day. If I would have switched to Terran, I would be a total guerrilla, dropping, harassing, never actually facing in direct combat, because he would, right now, in direct combat, Polt would lose. So he has to be careful when he picks up his force, how he lands the Stimpaks, but he's going to be surrounded right now, and that's pretty much the end of Polt's force there, all those Marines falling. He is doing what I said, redropping, but 2-2 is on the way from the Zerg. He has had his Baneling force receive speed just now, so he's only just trying to recuperate the supply depot wall, and even though Polt is hitting him hard at the front, and even though he does have a paltry Marine force to hold off, unless he splits pretty crazily, which he isn't able to, that will be an imminent GG, and there is our GG. So, I know I was speculating a bit, but it's because of the 10-minute mark I was ready to call it for TLO, and then I was just thinking to myself, wait a minute, Polt hasn't GG'd yet, and I thought maybe this would be possible. Hey, better to be optimistic, right, and keep options open. It would be pretty interesting if Polt was able to come back. Anyway, you guys, I will see you all in Game 3. Hope you enjoyed this cast. Any feedback is always appreciated. Catch you next time. ASUS77SC signing off.